This is a basic tutorial on throttle control and clutch control and hand position. If you notice that on my throttle hand I've got a little dotted line going off the back of my hand, that means the back of my hand is on top of the throttle rather than my knuckles. With my knuckles on top of the throttle, you see my wrist is kind of in a neutral and almost already bent back position. And most new riders, I should say, when they approach the throttle, kind of do it like that, which means they're already using up their wrist action before they've even rolled on the corner to drive out of rolled on the throttle to drive out of a corner. And especially if you're making a right turn and a slow right turn where the wheel might turn, you'll have your elbows in your rib cage and you won't be very comfortable or be able to drive out of that turn. So I'm going to suggest that you get your hand over the top of the throttle and just do a little chicken arm so your arms are relaxed here. They don't have to be, shoulder doesn't need to be elevated, arm doesn't need to be rotated around. So just be comfortable with your hand on the top of the throttle, and it should be very easy to roll on and off the throttle. And you notice my wrist hasn't moved at all yet. I'm saving my wrist for later when I'm getting a good drive out of a turn. Not only does it make it easier to get on the gas, but also gives you access to that brake lever. Whereas if your hand is lower on the throttle, you must get off the throttle in order to use the brake. And if you want to stop, that's just fine. But sometimes when you're riding, you might want to just tag the brake or drag the brake just a little bit without trying to stop. And you're certainly not going to add gas and add brake, but you can drag it a little bit, right? So it gives you more comfort on the throttle and access to the brake just by getting your hand over the top of the throttle. Notice I've got the X on the outside of my hand too, the pinky side. That's to remind me to keep my pinky side down. If I lean into my thumb side, my arm will rotate around and I won't be very comfortable and my wedge of my hand is going to hurt. So what I want to do is put that pinky side right back down on the throttle. There you go. For the clutch side, what a lot of people do is they want to grab a whole fistful. And now I'm doing a lot of work on my forearm. So instead of grabbing here at this knuckle, I want to back it off and do more of this action. And it'll be a lot more comfortable on the clutch, especially if you have a tightly sprung clutch. When you put it in gear, ease the clutch out just till you feel that friction point. Rock it back and forth without panic pulling, right? Just rock it a little forward and a little bit back and try to get that action really smooth. Nothing abrupt or jerky, right? Very smooth. And then you can add a little bit of throttle, hold the revs up kind of steady, and then rock it back and forth so you're moving forward and back smoothly. And that will help you with good throttle control, good clutch control, and more importantly, good throttle and clutch relationship. So that's something you can try with your bike, not even moving, right in your driveway or your garage.